prepared you. He prepared David for the day to defeat Goliath. He prepared him for the day. Since birth, he groomed him. He knew that he can do it. We go down and we look in Daniel chapter 3, verse 40 to 23. We hear of 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And King Nebuchadnezzar made a golden statue, and then he told the whole nation of Babylon, who were powerful at that time, similar to the Roman Empire, to the British Empire, and to like us, America, the Empire. And he told the people, who says, when you hear the sounds of the trumpets and the horns and the harps and all these tamarines and stuff going on, he says, I want you to bow down to the golden staff, to the golden statue. The 3 Hebrew boys didn't. So they brought them, the boys in to Nebuchadnezzar, and he questions. He says, well, you won't bow down to me? You won't bow down to the golden statue? Don't you know that nobody can save you from me? Your God can't save you? The Hebrew boys say something so powerful. Even if our God cannot save us from the situation, even if our God won't save us from the situation, we still will not bow down. They refuse to give in. Even if God wasn't going to save them at that moment, they refuse to give in, even faced with death. So, King Nebuchadnezzar, he took the furnace of fire. He set up 7 times worse than what it was. He says, I'm going to burn you to death, since you do not want to obey me. God allowed them to face the situation because he knew that they would be fearless. He knew that they had it in them to face the fire. He knew that these 3 Hebrew boys had it in them to stand up to what was right and to serve him only, even when faced with death. God's saying to some of you, you have it in you to preach the gospel in them ghettos, in places where death is imminent to those who preach the gospel. He says, I know that you can do it. Don't worry about death. For even when they walked through the furnace of the fire, those who carried the men died. And they walked in, and on them was burnt was the ropes that held them down. And God walked with them through the fire. He walked with them through the fire. God said, I am with you everywhere you possibly go. Don't be afraid of those who threaten you with death, who tell you to bow down to them. Refuse to give in. God's saying, I know that you can do it. It may seem hard. It may seem impossible. You may are becoming weary. You may are becoming tired. God is saying, I know that I know you can do it. I'm betting on you to succeed. Even when faced with death, they refuse to give in. When faced with fire, they refuse to give in. They said, even if God does not save us and allow us to die, I'm still not going to bow down to you. Had the same answer as the Hebrew boys. Don't give in to your temptation, even though it ends in death. Don't give in to that sin that leads in their own path. Or give it to that person who's threatening you with death. Don't give in. Don't stop preaching the gospel for fear of your life. For all those who try to save their life, Jesus says, will lose it. And all those who give up their life, they already have eternal life. Don't save yourself. He says, do not fear man who can only destroy the body, but fear him who can throw the body and the soul into hell. In the same book, we meet Daniel, who was with the Hebrew boys, who was acquainted with them on many different cases in the book of Daniel. And we read Daniel, and a decree went out to ban anyone from praying to their God, because these people were trying to entrap Daniel. Daniel prayed daily, 3 times a day, every single day. And he prayed, and people would see him praying. He prayed every single day, 3 times a day. So these men wanted to kill Daniel. Daniel had favor in the eyes of King Nebuchadnezzar, King Darius, and also other kings. And so they go to King Darius and they ask for a decree that no one should pray to their gods, and any request that they have, they should ask of the king that he will grant them. So the decree was only to last for 30 days. So when they go to the city and make this announcement that no one is to pray to their God, Daniel continues to pray to God. 3 times a day, at the same exact time, at the same exact place, he prays continuously. And the men caught him. And they brought him to Darius. And when Darius finally realized what he has done, because Daniel, he felt favor in Daniel. Daniel was a blessing to him. So anyone who broke the decree had to go into the lion's den. Now, even though Darius and Daniel were close, Darius could not break the agreement because he was a Persian, and Persians do not break their decree, that they must go through with it. So they cast Daniel into the lion's den, and they go to bed. But Darius can't sleep for some reason. He cannot sleep. Horses and turns. And when dawn breaks, he runs down to the den. He says, "Daniel, has thy God saved thee from the lions?" Daniel says, "When you threw me down here, the lions' mouths were shut." So Darius commands him to pull Daniel out of the den, and all those who conspired against Daniel, he threw them in there with their families. God knew that he had it in him to be cast into the lion's den. He knew, even with the idea of death being the outcome, Daniel refused to break his routine. He refused to allow man to dictate when he ought to pray, when he should pray, and whom he should pray to. God knew he had it in him. He prepared him for this exact day. He prepared him to face the lions. Daniel didn't cry when being thrown into the lion's den. He didn't say, "Lord, help me, Jesus, help me, help me." He said none of them things at all. He trusted in God, even knowing that he might die, like the 3 Hebrew boys. He knew that he can do it. He had faith in God to save him. He had faith in God that he was doing what was right, even if God did not save him. He didn't care. He said, "I will serve God. I will pray to him. I will worship him. I will call on his name. I will communicate with him. I will only fear him, and no other man shall I fear." That's in Daniel 6, 1-24. Read a great story. He knew. We look at Ruth, who in my mind is the best and who is the pure example in the Bible for all women to follow in the world. Ruth is married to Naomi's son, and Naomi has another daughter-in-law named Oprah. She's also married to Naomi's son. Both of their husbands died, and so does Naomi.